And whenever Chase comes into the car, whenever I don't even know what to say.
Ooh, well, there's no putting that cat back into the bag. We now know who will drive the 19 car next year. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Yes, we're talking about the clip that you've all probably seen yesterday afternoon. Christopher Bell, during a press conference at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, spilled the beans. A lot of folks I've seen are comparing Christopher Bell to Tom Holland, the Spider-Man actor. And you know what? I totally agree. They both have a ton in common. They're both stars, I would say, celebrities. They both wear a uniform. They both still look like they're 15 years old, and both are terrible at keeping a secret. Tom Holland back in the day was known for spoiling Spider-Man and Avengers secrets online before Marvel wanted him to. Christopher Bell yesterday, when speaking to reporters, accidentally confirmed the industry's worst kept secret.
There really is a leadership role in that aspect. And whenever Chase comes into the car, whenever I don't even know what to say. Whenever we have a new driver into the 19 car.
I think it's safe to assume he's not referring to Chase Elliott. Chase Briscoe has been linked to the 19 in recent weeks. He was reportedly Joe Gibbs' leading candidate to replace Martin Truex Jr. Now, thanks to Christopher Bell, the news is all but confirmed. I feel for Christopher Bell, man. Look at his face in this clip. Although with the way he delivered the line, it almost felt intentional. I don't know. I guess it probably wasn't. I'm sure it was an honest accident, a genuine slip up, which makes it all the more hilarious. And later today at the racetrack during mandatory media bullpens, Chase Briscoe is going to be asked about this. Probably by the time you watch this, Briscoe will probably already have been asked about it. I'll be curious to see how he responds. Does he just hit him with a, hey, no comment? Does he even show up to his media availability? What's the penalty if you don't show up to mandatory media in NASCAR? Do you get a fine? Do you have to start at the rear? I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if Chase Briscoe is either tight-lipped today, or maybe he just goes all in and says, he just announces it. The poor marketing and social media team at Joe Gibbs Racing probably has all this fanfare prepared, all for it to go to waste thanks to Christopher Bell's big mouth. Anyway, let's actually react to what this means. Chase Briscoe to the 19 is all but confirmed. I think this is a very good move for both parties. For Chase Briscoe, obviously, this is going to be the best Cup Series car he's ever driven. And for Joe Gibbs Racing, you get a young 29-year-old driver you can build around for the future, someone we've established has a strong work ethic. People like him. They want to work for him. They want to build him fast race cars. Good team guy. That's your guy now for the foreseeable future. I think both sides will come out of this in a pretty good position. I know there are a lot of Chase Briscoe doubters out there. I saw folks all over social media this last week calling him mediocre, painfully average. Are we talking about the same guy? The last time Chase Briscoe was in a championship contending car, he won 9 Xfinity Series races. Chase Briscoe has never been in A-plus equipment since getting to the Cup Series, okay? In 2021, his rookie season, Kevin Harvick went winless. Those are the cars Chase Briscoe was expected to drive that season. 2022, the first year of the next gen, was a little better, and what do you know? Briscoe won a race and got to the round of 8. That still was not A-plus level equipment, but Chase Briscoe made a surprisingly deep playoff run. Last year, again, Harvick was winless. This year, a lame duck season for Stuart Haas. He has never been in elite Cup Series equipment. So I believe Chase Briscoe is a very good race car driver. Is he as good as Martin Truex Jr. is right now? That's debatable. I would say probably not, which is why next season will be very interesting. I expect Chase Briscoe to win, make the playoffs next season, but I'm not sure he'll be as consistent as Martin Truex Jr. has been. Martin Truex Jr. was the regular season champion last year. He was extremely steady. Briscoe's still younger. He'll likely be adjusting to an all-new team. I expect the results to fluctuate a bit more, but he should win next year. If he doesn't, that's a disappointment. I really wonder, I'm just thinking out loud now, who will the crew chief be? Christopher Bell didn't spill those beans. Will James Small stick around? He's been on the 19 pit box since 2020. He's had a couple really good years with Truex. 2021, they won 4 races. They were in contention to win the championship at Phoenix until that late caution and pit cycle. Regular season champion last year, plummeted in the fall, unfortunately. They've been up and down with James Small in the crew chief position. Do they bring Richard Boswell over? Boswell and Briscoe won those 9 races in 2020 in the Xfinity Series. He's been Briscoe's Cup crew chief for about the past year now, I think going back to last summer, and this year at least they've shown improvement. Maybe they bring Richard Boswell, maybe they're a package deal, I don't know. So there are still questions that remain. Christopher Bell didn't spoil everything for us. What about sponsorship? Chase Briscoe's had a good relationship with High Point. They've supported him since his Xfinity Series days. Mahindra has come on strong in recent years, though I'm not sure. Are they more tied to Stewart Haas? I mean, Tony Stewart appeared in those commercials about as much as Chase Briscoe did, and Tony is long gone at this point. Maybe Mahindra will come on board. If not, I still believe Kroger is going to be a candidate. I mean, there was a report earlier this year that Kroger may be leaving JTG Doherty for Joe Gibbs. If so, that's one of those white whale sponsors every team dreams of. That would be huge for JGR and would likely end up being one of Chase Briscoe's major sponsors if I had to guess. We'll have to wait and see. But overall, I like this move for Joe Gibbs Racing. I understand not everyone's a huge Chase Briscoe fan, but I think Chase Briscoe is really talented. I think he's a hard worker. He's a grinder. We've all heard the stories of him sleeping on couches, doing everything he can at the shop when he first moved to North Carolina to make a good impression. People who work for him, work with him, speak highly of him. He has a strong work ethic. That's the kind of guy, if you're Joe Gibbs Racing, you want to build around for the next several years. With all due respect to Martin Truex Jr., still at the top of his game, an elite talent. It's hard to establish and build a long-term culture when your anchor is on year-to-year deals. Every year, he's keeping everyone in suspense as to what his plans are. It's hard to work under that kind of pressure, that kind of uncertainty. Now with Chase Briscoe for the next few years, likely, there is no uncertainty. I think they have the right guy at the center there. I think Chase Briscoe is going to have success with Joe Gibbs Racing. Of all the candidates out on the market, I think he was the best one for them to go pursue. They can plug him in and give it a few weeks, a couple months, find his footing. I think he'll contend for wins quickly next season. I think he'll be in the playoffs, and who knows, before long could even be an outside championship or championship 4 contender. If they'd put Chandler Smith in that seat, he's 21, 22 years old, it'd be a work in progress. Same for Corey Heim. I'm big on Corey Heim. He could end up in Cup next year. It's going to take time for him to develop into a legit contender. Chase Briscoe's got the experience, quicker plug-and-play kind of guy, high character. That's the kind of driver you want to build around for the future. And that's what Joe Gibbs Racing has. So I think this is a win for them. It's obviously a huge win for Chase Briscoe. I understand there will be skeptics, but my take, Chase Briscoe is going to be just fine. I think he's going to win races as long as he's in the 19 car. Now I want to know who they put atop the pit box. James Small, Richard Boswell, someone else? We'll have to wait and see. Man, how does Ford feel right now? Obviously, they've lost Stewart Haas Racing. Haas is sticking around with one charter. But now you've lost one of your top prospects, if you will. I mean, Ford has invested so much into Briscoe for 5-6 years now, and to see that guy just walk out the door and join Toyota, that's a kick in the shins right there. That can't feel good if you're Ford. And if Ford is not feeling good about this move, that tells me Toyota and Joe Gibbs Racing should be very excited about what just fell into their lap. What do you think? Give me your spiciest Chase Briscoe takes down in the comment section below. Before I go, I mentioned them a moment ago, Haas announced this week that they are sticking around. Gene Haas, Joe Custer are going to continue to operate a single-car Cup Series team as well as a 2-car Xfinity Series team. We got some additional details yesterday afternoon. This post is courtesy of Fox reporter Bob Pockrass. Haas factory team is expected to remain a Ford team, continue building Xfinity cars for other Ford teams. They're open to an alliance in Cup but don't have one yet, and Haas is to be the primary sponsor for the Cup car. They're looking for sponsors for the 2 Xfinity cars. Honestly, I'm glad they're sticking with Ford. That's big for Ford's presence in the Xfinity Series especially. I mean, those 2 now Haas cars are basically half the Fords in Xfinity, so losing them would have hurt dearly. Keeping them is a big deal. As for the last bit, I feel really good about my predictions yesterday. I'll throw the graphic up again. My predictions yesterday is that Cole Custer will drive the Cup car. His father is basically owning the team, running the team at this point, so that just makes sense. That's basic math. I think Harrison Burton and Ryan Preece have a shot at the 2 Xfinity seats. Harrison Burton, we know, brings some funding, and Ryan Preece perhaps does as well. And Preece has had success in Xfinity, so has Burton. They both won races there. This could be a great place for them to establish their careers once again. Cole Custer was asked yesterday about Haas factory team, about whether or not he sees himself driving that Cup Series car next year, and this is what he had to say.
It would be a dream come true to get to run that Cup car, but obviously for me, I've tried to go back to the Xfinity Series, prove what I can do, and try and make the most of it, and you just kind of try and hope it all sorts itself out from there.
Never say never, I guess, but I would be very surprised if Cole Custer is not back in Cup next year, and I know folks will cry foul, but it's hard to say he didn't earn it. He is the defending Xfinity Series champion after all. And he's leading the Xfinity Series points right now, at least coming into this weekend. Who knows how they'll perform today. Cole Custer, say what you will, his dad runs the team. He's good. He's solid. He's got a Cup Series win on his resume. I know it was the 550 package. It was an overtime restart at Kentucky 4 years ago, but that's on his record. He's earned, in my opinion, another shot at a full-time Cup Series opportunity. I know some people won't agree with that, but man, look at me, defending a couple of Stewart-Haas Racing legacy drivers. Everyone's been piling on Stewart-Haas this year, myself included at times, but there are some talented people that have come through that shop in recent seasons, who've driven those cars, who've worked on those cars, who've worked in the office. It's not all bad. It's not all terrible at Stewart-Haas. Briscoe's good. Custer is good. I'll be excited to see them both in Cup next year, especially Custer, back after a couple of really strong Xfinity Series seasons, rebuilding his image, his confidence, his career, whatever you want to say. But that's going to do it for this episode. Just a quick check-in this weekend. I wasn't planning on doing this, but Christopher Bell and his big mouth prompted a response video. But I'll see you guys again tomorrow after the New Hampshire Cup Series race. Thanks for tuning in. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more NASCAR content and commentary just about every single day all year long. And a big thank you to my Patreon supporters as always. I will see you again very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, y'all.